It's very slowly, and it's not the explosive cocktail you expect. For example, in what happened in Richard Ramirez's Knife was
Right.
much more like, of course, he was a sociopath, not a psychopath, but you could expect him to turn like that. With Bundy, it's a bit more, head scratching. You
Yeah.
know, it's
And
it's
it
like
came
you
on
don't have something
slowly
very
and
explosive,
right.
very dramatic.
Yeah. Yep. Came on more slowly.
Yeah.
And the first big change was in when he thought he wanted to rape someone to see what it would be like, you know. And he tried it, and this woman got away from him, and he never wanted to do it again. But it wasn't long before he got his first two victims. Once he killed those first two, then there's no way of going back.
It opened Pandora's box.
That's it. That's right.
But how about his necrophiliac tendencies? I mean, I read that he engaged in sexual actions with some of his victims until their remains were well decomposed. It's like he wanted to obliterate them. What's the explanation for it?
Yeah. When Ted was in prison in Florida, and he was going through a psychological assessment by a psychologist called Dr. Art Norman, there was a woman who was there taking part of the interview, one of Norman's friends, and she asked Ted what there was about the what there was about his victims. Was it the excitement of the attack? And he said, no, it's the possession. The possession after the person's dead, or the possession even before they're dead, but even after they're dead. There's what's that? I'm trying to think of the name. They used a pedophile over in London, and he would get victims and kill them, and then possess them after. And with Jeffrey Dahmer, his was also one of possession and keeping the heads of the victims and such, and even Kemper. Kemper talked about having a head in a basket and carrying it up to his room, and people, if they looked out the window, they could possibly see he had this, you know. And he said, he talked about, he said it was one hell of a tweak. You know, so once a person starts killing, then the first one is sort of terrifying and is often not planned. It's just something you try, even in a situation, and so the only thing you do to keep the victim from reporting him is the killer, you know. But then if he goes on to do very much of that, it gets so he's looking for something new, something to keep the whole process exciting. That's when you get all this possession of the essence of the victim, whether you call it the victim's soul or what. But it's just literally possessing her, so you get into that necrophilia.
That's interesting. It's like a kind of empowerment for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of like the offender feels that he is God, and he can take or give life. He can create life,
Ultimate
or he can destroy it.
Yeah. So by that stage, Bundy had already developed, the ability to repeatedly kill and normally function as an even high-flying person. He could combine these two extremes into one personality.
To a degree. Mm-hmm. If you look at once he started killing, in say around February of '74, once he started killing, he actually started falling apart. So he became more and more dysfunctional. He was going to the University of Puget Sound at that point, and he couldn't study. He couldn't focus. And, when I asked him, well, Ted, what was going on? Why couldn't you focus on your studies? After all, you want to become a lawyer, you're in law school at the University of Puget Sound. And he says, I don't know, anxiety or something. Well, no. It wasn't, it was anxiety, but it was fear, it was terror. So in essence, he was deteriorating. During the summer, when he went to Lake Sammamish, what he did was absolutely stupid. You've got about 10,000 people on the beach. You've got news media going around and filming it. And you have this kid who walks up to this girl who's sunbathing on the beach and says, would you help me load my raft onto my car? She says, yeah, okay. So she goes over to the parking lot with him, and his raft isn't there. And he says, oh, I'm sorry, but my raft is up in this little town up here, village. He's talking about a 6-man rubber raft. And she says, no, I'm sorry, I've got people coming. I can't leave, so she went back. Well, what's stupid is he goes back to the same place where she was, and he asks another girl to do the same thing, and this first one overhears him. That's where the name Ted came from. And so he says to the second girl, my name is Ted, and I need someone to help me, so forth and so forth. And then that girl disappears. And you never see her alive again after that. But then he comes back after another one, so he has 2 victims that day. You see? So he's falling apart. He's falling apart. When he comes down to Salt Lake, I think he came to Salt Lake because he had to get away.
So he draws power from it, but he also falls apart.
Yeah, he's falling apart, but he's holding together enough that he is working. Now, his girlfriend Liz comes down and gives him an apartment in Salt Lake. He comes down, he's there in his apartment, and he soon attempts to kidnap Carol DeRunch. Now, it's at a mall, and you look at the nature of the crime, and it's really rather stupid. Because Carol DeRunch, about 18 years old, she stops at the mall, and she goes in, and she's walking down the area between stores. And Ted walks up behind her, taps her on the shoulder, and says, I'm Officer Naslund, and I think someone might have broken into your car. Can you come out? And he says, do you have a Camaro? And she says, yes. Well, he knows she's got a Camaro. He watched her get out of the car. So he says, let's go back and check and see if you're missing anything. Well, they go out, and she looks in the car. She doesn't open it. She looks in the car and says, no, everything's okay. It's all there. And but he takes her back. They go back into the mall and walk all the way towards the end and back again. Now, for him, he's trying to kidnap a victim, and he's walking through a mall where she goes shopping periodically, and she's got friends and other people who are there, and all that needs to happen is for her to see one of her friends or a cousin or someone, and stop and talk, and that person can identify Ted. Anyway, so he gets her out. He gets her out of the car. He convinces her he really is a police officer, and she needs to get in his car and to go to this substation close by. She gets in his car. They leave the parking lot. They go a couple blocks, and he tries to slap handcuffs on her, and he gets the two ends of the handcuffs on the same wrist. And she is able to, and he tries to hit her with a heavy object. And she struggles and gets out of his Volkswagen, and he kind of runs over the curve a little bit and does a U-turn and heads out the other way and goes back. And there's an elderly couple who stop her. And she tells him what's going on. Anyway, so he attempted to kidnap her, and likely he's going to kill her. But she gets away. And that evening, instead of laying low, because he knows she could have reported it to the police, that evening he goes up to a little city above Salt Lake and tries to get someone up there. And he does. He gets Debbie Kent. She goes with him and then never see her again. But the point being, when one didn't work, he didn't get the one. His appetite was so strong, he had to keep doing it until he got a victim. So you see what I'm saying? So on one hand, he's trying to go to law school, and the other hand, he's going out at night looking for victims. So he's having a very difficult time. I mean, life is not going well at all.
Yeah.
And so, he's a pretty full-blown psychopath at this point.
Yes. So I have one last question for you. I read that you said you believe that Ted Bundy was the author of his own creation.
Yes.
This quote of yours sounds like Bundy, who was a psychopath serial killer, I don't know, maybe that's how I interpret it, had free will. I mean, this quote of yours is not a deterministic view of a person who was born into a psychopath's body. You say he was the author of his own creation. What do you mean with that? I mean,
just if you recorded this and you listen to it, and you look at the process I've described, he starts out as a normal child. He's lonely. He gets into the fantasy. He finds the fantasy very enjoyable. As he's getting into his teens and the sexual urge and all of that comes on, he starts getting into pornography. That's his choice. He didn't have to do that. He chose to do that. He didn't see that there's anything wrong with it. And most people who get into pornography are never going to kill anyone. So he goes through high school and he gets this girlfriend. And then he's really getting into pornography and window peeking and heavy stuff at this point. See, that's still his choice. He has the freedom to make his own choices. When he goes back east the first time and he checks and sees he's really illegitimate and that becomes even a bigger issue, and then he comes back and he can't settle down, he goes back the second time, he kills the first two victims. That was his choice. See? Whether or not he was going to go to New Jersey Beach on that day, that was his choice. You know? And then he killed them, and then came out west, back home, so to speak, to Seattle. And he's still going out at night. That's his choice. You know, there's nothing in him that says, you have to do this, and you have no choice because you were born with it.
Yes.
You know? You see what I'm saying?
Yes. He was not
so
born sick.
That's what...
He was not born sick.
That's what
he
I
had
mean.
A choice. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Wesley Allen Dodd, who killed 3 children in the Northwest, and he got caught and was executed. I went up there and I got his full story. And I've got that in a book I did called Mind of the Devil. And there's another kid, Arthur Gary Bishop, in Salt Lake, and both of them were pedophilia. You know, both of them, their sexual interest was in kids. And they both ended up killing kids. That was their choice. There was nothing that said that they had to kill kids. They created their psychopathic character by Wesley Dodd was lonely. With him, it wasn't a strong urge to have sex with kids. He was lonely. And he found that kids were an easy opportunity. And at first, he didn't care if the girls or boys. You know? And so he went with boys because they were easier and more trusting, you see? So he created himself in that he made the choices, and every choice he chose to go the wrong direction because his whole sexual interest was going that way. You know? And he was even going to have sex slaves. He was going to kidnap kids and kill them and have sex slaves.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. So you see what I mean?
Yes.
It's not like Wesley Dodd nor Arthur Gary Bishop were born killers. You know, they chose to hide their pathology and show to everybody else they were normal people, whereas their pathology, sexual pathology, just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And then it does seem to get to a point where they lose control, and they can't control it. It controls them.
Yes.
And then at that point, you know, and if you look at it at that point, you say, wow, this guy was born a psychopath. But you look at the childhood, neither one was psychopaths as children or as teenagers. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so, and so that's why I made that statement, that a psychopath creates himself.
Yes, yes. Okay, it was a very interesting conversation. I think you helped us a lot with understanding the perplexities surrounding Ted Bundy's story.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
I think it's going to be a very interesting question and answer, article. So I will have finished writing it, by the end of the week, and then sending it to my editor. And I take it will go up in about 2 weeks from now. I will email you the link to the piece.
Okay. Do you want my email?
Yes, I have your email. I have.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's the one we. You
Yeah,
just contacted
me. at me.com. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
For your insights.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.